Hi there, Victor Oliver, the Beach Bum Astrologer. You thought you'd seen the back of me. I did post a video though a little while back on the Ukraine situation, my take through what I call zombie astrology, and the video's out there on YouTube. But today, a bit of an ego show because I know you're riveted to know what I'm up to next. But here I am on the beach. We'll come to the moments of my vainglorious pursuits. But here I am on the beach. I know today we have a quite vigorous southeasterly breeze. The sea is choppy. The waves come with the wind direction. So today the waves are coming from the east and therefore are not as huge as when they come from the southwest. I'm sure you're riveted by that observation. I think I should share this experience. It's going to get quite windy though. You see how beautiful it is? That's my life by the sea. Hands shaking slightly. Perhaps I had a heavy night last night. And all around us, you see, you thought it was sound effects, didn't you? But it's actual sea. And there are people to the east of me who are on their windsurf. The camera's shaking about. Sorry about that. Make you seasick. Anyway, coming to the point of it, so my book on draconic astrology is out on April the 22nd. It's being published by the Wessex Astrologer, fabulous company, famous for its books on astrology. And here it is, I've got the proof copy. Look, 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 isn't that it's great, isn't it? We're going to have to make one or two little amendments. This is just a proof copy. We're going to sort of gloss up the cover because there's a back image that's not, you can't see it. I mean, I'm only going through symbolic, but there's an image on the back that needs to be shown up more, otherwise it looks like a coffee stain. And one way to deal with that is to gloss up the paper, and I'm totally a slave to Margaret Carhill, the director of Wessex Astrologer. Her wisdom and insights. I mean, it was her idea in the first place that I should write this book. And in the epilogue of this book, I mean, I'm not going to go on and on about it, but in the epilogue of this book, I actually draw up the draconic chart for the book, because I have a date-stamped, time-stamped moment when she first suggested that I write this book. On Facebook, you see, she wrote to me privately. I've known Margaret for quite a while, not personally in the sense of socializing, but we've interacted a great deal, and I've come to greatly respect her wisdom and her knowledge, her integrity and so forth. I couldn't work with anyone that I didn't seriously respect. She's a great astrologer in her own right and a great writer too. So working with her has been so easy. Yes, she does have Virgo tendencies, but I get some of my best friends are Virgos. And she has a great heart. So yeah, the book, draconic, some of you won't have heard of this word. It means dragon-like, and it's just a specialist, it's a specialist astrological system. There are a number of things you can do with it, but its main thrust, if you like, is to find life purpose, your life purpose. A lot of people are asking this question, always have done actually, but especially at the moment with so much crisis in the world. You know, we think we're coming out of COVID, and now we've got the Ukraine thing, we've got a cost of living crisis, blah-de-blah. And certainly in my practice, a lot of people are coming to me and saying that they have time and reason to consult me on what the chart is saying. I mean, as I make very clear in this book, it's not me telling you, it's me pointing out things, and then it's up to you whether you can recognize. I mean, it's an automatic process. It's not like you've got to sit in a Lloyd Loom chair and meditate for an hour. With most of my clients, when I'm draconically analyzing them, it's a process of recognition, and the great value of draconic works through personal recognition, not through somebody playing the guru trying to tell you what. So what I do in this book is it's very much a pared down, stripped down instruction guide as to how to use draconic. If you don't know astrology, then learn some astrology first before you come to draconic, because this is a specialist system. It's easy to put up. The draconic system is very straightforward, especially with astrological software programs these days. And there's no big. But the real challenge with draconic is understanding you're dealing with a different kind of zodiac, a different kind of chart. Whereas the tropical system is sun-based, starting at the vernal equinox, because it's a seasonal-based system. The draconic system shifts the north node to the vernal equinox point, turning it into a moon chart. So it's not an alternative to the tropical, it is a specialized insight or a magnification of certain issues related to the past, the present, and the future. And I would not have been able to write this book if I had not examined the charts of hundreds of people, clients and celebrities. And it's not a case of confirmation bias or seeing patterns in random shapes and all that stuff. It's about really headline news type stuff. The aspects are so clear. I mean, I look at so many different charts. Britney Spears' chart, for example. I mean, she's got that square between Venus and her Pluto. It's an exact square touching on Saturn in her first. So already we have a hint in her tropical chart of problems with family and father. But only when you look at the draconic chart you see the nature of the challenge that she has to face, which is not just about the father, but about taking control of her life in lots of different ways. And it sort of adds a sort of spiritual dimension to the life. But if she were in front of me, it's not me telling her that. It's not me going through the newspapers and saying, oh look, it's her. It's for her to say, well, I understand what you're saying. That really does resonate. I'm not sure she'd say resonate. She might say something else. I get you, maybe. I get you. Anyway, I hope you buy the book. It's about 210 pages, you know, and because I'm a seasoned writer, it's easy to read. It's very straightforward. I've stripped away faith-based ideas. I do examine the question of soul, but very much in the way of sharing information on, you know, from the gurus of the past, the great thinkers, the writers, the artists. But I myself am not sure what the soul is, but I recognize that there's this thing that, and it's a space somewhere in our minds, and we call it soul. And you can bring to this subject whatever you can also bring to it your own particular astrological system. I mean, I'm a modern astrologer. I pinch a few ideas from the trads, the traditionals, or the radishes as I call them, the root of astrology. But you know, you can adapt draconic to all traditional systems, and you can also adapt it to other sort of predictive methods such as solar returns and transits themselves. Draconic has its own ephemeris, its own transits. Anyway, that's enough of that. I'm also working on another book which just sort of flew through the window, the opportunity, which is really another pared down book, but this time an introduction to the subject. It's going to be very visual. It's for a wonderful company called Flame Tree. They produce beautiful books and they're reissuing classic works as well. But the emphasis is on a fun copy, very, very accessible copy. No pretense at scholarship, although I think it takes some scholarship to write the kind of books that they produce. But there is a great, great emphasis on the visuals and on stripping away what's not strictly relevant and understanding that when you're just approaching the subject, you want to be kind of almost seduced by it. You know, you may have an interest already, but why is it so interesting? And astrology is fascinating because it just goes against the grain of life at the moment where everything is weighed and measured. Everybody knows everything. Put on the radio and you've got some professor, or a professor who thinks they know everything, and when you examine what they said, frankly, it's just an opinion. They may have some research, but it's the weighing and measuring, the boxing, the categorizing, the endless conformity. Whereas astrology opens our minds up to another way of looking at things, not as an alternative to science, but just as another way of exercising another part of one's soul or mind or whatever you want to call it. So look, I'm still on the beach. Look, have a look at the sea. Isn't it gorgeous? Just think, I look at that every day. Are you jealous? You should be. I'm sorry about the wind effects. I can't do anything about that. I have been sitting the right side of some rocks, trying not to seeing anything. I'm trying to see it, to get myself out of it. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? Let's see what's happening here. You're going to get some wind effects now. The tide is actually quite low. You can always tell journalists, they don't know anything about tides. Look, but around this time of year, even if you have a storm, the tide is quite low as a rule. And we've just come out of a full, or just coming out of a full moon now in Virgo, and that's done nothing to bring the tides further up. The surge is no bigger, but it's choppy. It's lovely talking with you. All done on this silly little phone. Some people said you always look the same, Victor. You know, funny face, funny expressions. There's nothing I can do about that. You have to live with it. Just get over it, okay? So this book, draconic thingy, it's called Chasing the Dragons, An Introduction to Draconic Astrology. It's out April the 22nd. You can pre-order now. It's on Amazon, or buy it direct from the Wessex Astrologer. Just bung it in the old search box and you'll find it. And what else? And yeah, the other book, which is just called Astrology, and Shelley von Strunkel's writing the foreword. She used to work for the Sunday Times. She was an astrologer there for about 20 years, and she's very kindly contributing a short foreword, her take on astrology. And certainly think about that book if you're thinking about Christmas presents. You know, if somebody's expressed an interest in astrology, maybe you're an astrologer yourself and your family's saying, oh God, you know, can't you do something more useful? But buy my book. It's under 10 quid, and you can pre-order that as well. My life's going in the direction of books, clients. So that's what happens when, I suppose, progressed Sun is on Uranus in Leo, and transiting Uranus is on my Mercury in the 3rd as well. Lovely to speak with you. Thank you for joining me. Sorry I've been going on about myself a lot, but you know, someone's got to. And I wish you well. I will try to post more videos as I go along. Okay. Next time I'll examine maybe Ukraine again or some other issue. We live in a time of much anxiety, I'm afraid. Bye-bye.